Got a little bit of a different video, as today we're going to be looking at the best player from every age ranging from 21 to 40. Now real quick before we do hop into the video, if you guys do enjoy this type of content, feel free to subscribe. I post plenty of baseball content on this channel and I'm going to continue to do so going forward. So with that in mind, let's hop right into this. Getting started off with the best 21-year-old, I have Julio Rodriguez. Rodriguez has burst onto the scene this year and in my opinion is running away with the Rookie of the Year award. On the year, Rodriguez is hitting .266 to go along with 19 home runs, 21 stolen bases, a .792 OPS, and he was of course named to the All-Star team. Rodriguez is a supreme talent. He's going to be a superstar for many years to come, and he's one of the most exciting young players in the game today. Quick honorable mention here is Wander Franco. He's a superstar in the making as well, but I think Rodriguez just slightly out-edges him at this point. Moving on to the best 22-year-old, I have Bobby Witt Jr. Witt is very similar to Rodriguez in the sense that he's having a great rookie year, as on the year he's hitting .249 to go along with 16 home runs, 23 stolen bases, and a .720 OPS. Witt has always had a lot of hype around his name, being a former top prospect, and he's lived up to it and then some. He's a 5-tool player just like Rodriguez, and he has 40 home run, 40 stolen base potential. Now a quick honorable mention here is Alek Thomas of the Diamondbacks, who is having a very quiet yet very productive rookie campaign. Getting on to the best 23-year-old, I have Juan Soto. Pretty crazy to think that Soto is still only 23 years old considering he's in his 5th big league season. He is already one of the top players in the game today. He's a 2-time All-Star. He finished 2nd in the MVP voting back in 2021, and like many others on this list, he's going to be very good for very long. Now getting on to an honorable mention, which is a very formidable honorable mention in my opinion, we have Vladimir Guerrero Jr. who just missed out. Now getting on to the best 24-year-old, I have Ronald Acuna Jr. Acuna, similar to Soto, is one of the league's best at this point, as on the year he's hitting .274 to go along with 10 home runs, 25 stolen bases, and a .784 OPS. Acuna is a 3-time All-Star. He was the 2018 Rookie of the Year, and he nearly had a 40 home run, 40 stolen base season at 21 years old. A few honorable mentions here is Alek Manoah, Emmanuel Clase, and Bo Bichette. Getting on to the best 25-year-old, I have Austin Riley. Riley is yet again having a huge campaign, as on the year he's hitting .291 to go along with 31 home runs, 78 runs driven in, and a .929 OPS. He's a very underrated superstar who has lots of pop in his bat, and I think he should finish top 3 in the National League MVP voting this year. Now this was a really tough one, as the honorable mentions here are very, very good, as we have Yordan Alvarez, Kyle Tucker, Rafael Devers, and Shane McClanahan. Getting on to the best 26-year-old, I have Sandy Alcantara. Alcantara has been probably the best pitcher in baseball this year, as in 173 innings he has a 1.92 ERA to go along with 152 punchouts and a .94 whip. He also has a 6.8 WAR, which is tied for the best in baseball along with Aaron Judge. Alcantara was a pretty famous breakout pitcher this year, and he has, like I said, exceeded those expectations and then some. As for an honorable mention, I have Dylan Cease. Moving on to the best 27-year-old, I have Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani is obviously coming off an MVP campaign, which he did something we never saw in baseball before. And while he's not having quite as good of a season as he did last year, he is still having a very good season. At the plate, he's hitting .283 to go along with 27 home runs, 11 stolen bases, and an .871 OPS. On the mound in 117 innings, he has a 2.69 ERA to go along with 165 strikeouts. You can make a very good argument that Ohtani is the single best player in the game today, and it's just a shame that he's wasting away on the Angels. Couple honorable mentions here, I have Pete Alonso and Corbin Burns. Getting on to the best 28-year-old, I have Edwin Diaz. Diaz in the past has been known to be very up and down, but this year he has been nothing but up. He's been far and away the best closer in baseball, as in 48 innings he has 27 saves to go along with a 1.3 ERA, 96 strikeouts, and a .84 whip. He's been a huge reason why the Mets have been so good this year, as every time he comes in it seems like he doesn't let up a hit and he strikes out at least 2 batters to close out the game. If Diaz keeps this up, I could very well see the Mets making the World Series and maybe even winning it. As for a couple honorable mentions, I have Francisco Lindor and Byron Buxton. Getting on to the best 29-year-old, I have Mookie Betts. This was definitely the most talented age, as there is so many good players that I'm going to mention for honorable mentions. Mookie Betts is a perennial MVP candidate, and this year is no different. He's hitting .276 to go along with 27 home runs, 61 runs driven in, 10 stolen bases, and an .889 OPS. Betts has quite the resume, as up to this point he's a 6-time All-Star, a 5-time Gold Glove Award winner, and has won an MVP back in 2018 with Boston. Now for the honorable mentions, we have Bryce Harper, Jose Ramirez, Manny Machado, and Trey Turner. So So yeah, this was a really tough one. I was really close to going with Bryce Harper, but I think Betts slightly outedges him. Getting on to the best 30-year-old, I have Aaron Judge. Judge is having an insane year, as on the year he's hitting .293 to go along with 46 home runs, 102 runs driven in, 12 stolen bases, and a 1050 OPS. He is reminding us this year why he has the best power in baseball, as he could very well hit 65 plus home runs on the year. Judge won the Rookie of the Year, as in 2017 he had 52 home runs, and he's also a 4-time All-Star. As for an honorable mention, I have Mike Trout, who I was really close to picking, but I just couldn't go against Judge the way he's playing this year. Getting on to the best 31-year-old, I have Nolan Arenado. Arenado is building himself a Hall of Fame resume, as up to this point he's a 7-time All-Star and has won a Gold Glove in all 9 of his big league seasons. And this year he has yet again been spectacular, as he's hitting .299 to go along with 25 home runs and a .923 OPS. He's one of the best players in the game today, and if he keeps this up, he is definitely going to be a Hall of Famer. As for an honorable mention, I have Garrett Cole. Getting on to the best 32-year-old, I have Freddie Freeman. Freeman is having a very productive first year in LA, as on the year he's hitting .319 to go along with 16 home runs, 10 stolen bases, and a .914 OPS. On top of that, Freeman is a 6-time All-Star and won the MVP award in the shortened 2020 campaign. As for a couple honorable mentions, I have Jose Altuve and George Springer. Moving on to the best 33-year-old, I have Starling Marte. Marte is a really good player, and while he doesn't have the best resume, as he's only a 2-time All-Star and 2-time Gold Glove Award winner, he is still a very good player. And this year he's been a big piece to the Mets' success, as he's hitting .290 to go along with 14 home runs, 16 stolen bases, and an .804 OPS. He can get on base in his sleep, and when he gets on base, he's of course very dangerous with his wheels, so he is a real big asset to New York. Now for an honorable mention, I have Merrill Kelly, who is having an outstanding year for Arizona. Moving on to the best 34-year-old, I have Paul Goldschmidt and Jacob deGrom. I hate to pick 2 players, but I just couldn't leave out either of these guys. Paul Goldschmidt's having an MVP caliber season for the Cardinals, as he's hitting .339 to go along with 30 home runs, 96 runs driven in, and a .1056 OPS. On top of that, he's a 7-time All-Star and a 4-time Gold Glove Award winner. Jacob deGrom, in 31 innings this year, has a 2.31 ERA to go along with 37 strikeouts. And he's built quite the resume up to this point in his career, as he won the Rookie of the Year award back in 2014 and is a 4-time All-Star and won the Cy Young Award back-to-back years in 2018 and 2019. And obviously, if he was healthy, he would have won his 3rd career Cy Young. Now for an honorable mention, I have Clayton Kershaw. Getting on to the best 35-year-old, I have Yu Darvish. Darvish has been very solid throughout his career, as he's a 5-time All-Star and has finished top 2 in the Cy Young voting 2 separate times. On the year, in 149 innings, he has a 3.39 ERA to go along with 147 strikeouts. So while he is getting up there in age, he is still very productive for San Diego. As for an honorable mention, I have Jose Abreu. Now for the best 36-year-old, I have Johnny Cueto. Nothing against Johnny Cueto, but this is definitely the least talented age we're going to be looking at today. But Cueto has been very productive for Chicago this year, as in 110 innings he has a 2.78 ERA. He has been a bit up and down over the past couple years, but he's really bounced back this year, and I'm happy to see him playing so well at 36 years old. As for an honorable mention, I have Matt Carpenter. Moving on to the best 37-year-old, I have Daniel Bard. Bard has been a pleasant surprise for the Rockies this year, as in 43 innings he has 25 saves to go along with a 2.11 ERA and 49 strikeouts. Being out of baseball for nearly 10 years and seeing Daniel Bard come back and play the way he has for Colorado and get a new contract is really something you like to see, and especially I like to see as a Rockies fan. As for an honorable mention, I have David Robertson, who has had a very productive year down in Chicago. Getting on to the best 38-year-old, I have Max Scherzer. This one was really a no-brainer, as on the year, Scherzer in 109 innings has a 2.15 ERA to go along with 134 strikeouts and a .93 whip. And he's no stranger to pitching this well, as he's an 8-time All-Star and a 3-time Cy Young Award winner. Scherzer is one of the best pitchers of this generation, and he is clearly the best 38-year-old in baseball today. As for an honorable mention, I have Charlie Morton, who has been a pretty solid pitcher for being 38 years old. Getting on to the best 39-year-old, I have Justin Verlander. Verlander is head and shoulders above anyone else at his age. So far this year, he has to be the leading Cy Young candidate in the American League, as in 143 innings he has a 1.95 ERA to go along with 138 strikeouts and a .88 whip. Verlander is a first ballot Hall of Famer, as he's a 9-time All-Star, a 2-time Cy Young Award winner, and has also won an MVP award. Now for an honorable mention, I have Miguel Cabrera. And finally, getting onto the best 40-year-old in baseball today, I have Adam Wainwright. Wainwright has been really productive, as in 150 innings he has a 3.11 ERA to go along with 123 strikeouts. He's a 3-time All-Star, and while he's never won a Cy Young award, he's finished top 3 in the voting 4 separate times. As for our final honorable mention of today's video, I have Wainwright's battery mate in Yadier Molina. So there you have my best player ages 21 to 40. Let me know what you guys think down below, where you agree or disagree, because I'm sure we're going to have plenty of disagreements for this one. As always, I want to thank you guys again so much for watching and continuing to support, and I'll see you next time.